Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring something relatable, I think. The crossroads of taste and friendship.
Mm,
Our word, gustatory.
mm,
Basically anything to do with taste or eating.
right. And we're diving into how food, that whole gustatory experience, really shapes our friendships using some insights you shared.
Exactly. You're looking for deep insights, quickly, no overload. We aim to deliver.
And you kick things off by saying, oftentimes when my friends and I hang out, we go for food with it.
Yeah, it seems almost default, doesn't it? Grabbing food is just
Yeah,
what you do.
it really is. It's such a fundamental social ritual. Sharing a meal, breaking bread, it goes way back.
It absolutely does. But then things can shift, like personally.
Yeah.
You mentioned, I am more mindful of what I eat and drink.
Right.
My friends are typically not. So that changed the dynamic a bit.
Uh-huh. And that leads to, well, your words. So we don't do as many outings.
Yeah, not quite as many. It's not like we stop hanging out, but
There's a slight change. You still go, you said I eat whatever, but I do have my limits.
exactly. There's a limit. It feels like a subtle shift in how we connect sometimes.
And it's interesting because it brings up that desire you mentioned. If we can just hang out without the food, that would be cool too.
Yeah, like the friendship's the point, right? Not always the meal itself.
Precisely. It's about valuing the connection itself, even if the shared activities evolve a little.
Which brings us to this really, well, positive framing you had. You said, though it's not a perfect arrangement, the situation is great, hanging and chilling and keeping the friendship alive as we orbit around this place called life. I love that phrase.
Me too. Orbit around this place called life. It really paints a picture, doesn't it, of shared journeys, maybe parallel paths.
Yeah, moving through things together, even if your habits diverge slightly.
Exactly. And that idea of orbiting, seeing things from a shared perspective, it made me think of something else. Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space, he had this quote after seeing Earth from orbit.
Okay,
Mmm.
where are we going with this? Food to space.
Bear with me. He said, orbiting Earth in the spaceship, I saw how beautiful our planet is. People, let us preserve and increase this beauty, not destroy it.
Wow. Okay, big picture. How does that connect back to food and friends?
Well, think about the perspective. Gagarin gets this huge shared perspective of Earth, a unifying view.
Right, seeing the whole planet.
And on a much, much smaller scale, aren't shared experiences like meals or just hanging out creating tiny shared perspectives between friends, little orbits of connection.
Huh. Okay, I see that. Like, shared food creates one kind of shared view, one connection point.
Yeah, a gustatory connection point.
And Gagarin's view is another, much grander one.
Yeah.
But both are about sort of shared experience fostering connection.
That's the idea. And as our individual tastes or habits change our personal orbits, you could say the core thing, that desire for connection often remains.
So we adapt how we connect. We find new ways to keep orbiting together.
Exactly. It's about nurturing the friendship, preserving that bond, even as the how changes. Like Gagarin wanting to preserve the planet he saw.
So the takeaway isn't really about whether you eat the same things, but about actively, keeping that friendship alive, keeping it in orbit.
Precisely. It's the commitment to the shared journey.
Which leaves us with a bigger thought, maybe building on Gagarin. How do all our shared tastes, not just food, but maybe values, interests, hopes, how do they shape our collective journey, our shared orbit on this, well, beautiful planet?
That's a deep one. How do all these small connections, these shared tastes, influence the bigger picture of how we all move together? Something to chew on, perhaps.